Kabelo Ncholo is with Yourself Management. It's a through-the-line marketing agency. It specializes in peri-urban or township marketing. Welcome and thanks very much for joining us today. You make the point that townships and rural communities are still the untapped market when it comes to brand awareness. I'm going to come right back at you and say, I've been hearing this for the past 10 or even 20 years. What a market is failing to do? Why are they not seeing the value, the benefit in this particular community?
I think it's because of the market. They miss one thing. They miss the communication. How do they communicate with that market? And one element that makes that market is because of the emotional spark behind it. So most people, because of truth to be told, most marketing agency has been white owned, and that doesn't give them the clear reflection of how the market reflects. And another thing is what determines into that market and what is the buying powers and the patterns that influences that market to literally turn around. And as much as you say it's been the discussions for the past 20 years, truth to be told is only for the past 10 years or 5 years, there's starting to be development within the market. Like malls in the township and what's not, and malls in the rural areas. So that on its own is an emerging market, because of people in that market or in the township or rural areas, they always had to go to town to go purchase. But now all this development, they're coming to them, so that changes the pattern as well.
Also, I think one of the other problems is that brands marketers tend to see either the township market or the rural market as one homogenous market. Within that market itself, though, there are many different stratas.
Of course.
And that's another mistake. How do you get over that as a marketer?
I always say this, you looking at it, it's a global thing, and you need to also put into context the vernacular, the language spoken, the different culture. There's so many different aspects, and if you don't understand the market, you will going to miss it because of you're just going to paint it with one color, and that's why most marketers, they miss it. How to communicate, if it works in a certain region, it doesn't work in another regions because of the language barrier, the culture.
So it's the language, it's the tone, it's the culture, it's the nuance, all of those play
all of those things,
they
play in hand. And for an example, you can't go and push something that is Sotho dominated with a Zulu logo or with a Zulu tagline. That is going to throw them off because of there's always those things where you need to understand the market and how you're going to position your brand and how it's going to resonate with them and communicate with them, where it's going to spark that emotional connection. And
hang on, sparking the emotional connection
yes.
is important. You talk about the ESP, the emotional selling point. How do you light that spark then in that respect? So if I'm a brand viewing this conversation, where's my starting point here? Where's my entry into this? Where's the portal? I
always say, if you're going to get into the market, you need to always be familiar with the politics, where we're coming from, the people that are there, how they view things. And you're starting to look at it from politics, social, economic, and so forth. So less
glibness, more immersion, in other words.
Yes. Yeah. So, but you need to make it that easy for them to be able to interpret it, and it should also be able to connect with them. So with that market, it's more to do with emotional connections than unique selling point. The more it can resonate with them, the more they can see themselves within the brand, the more they can identify and live with the brand, that's when they can be able to buy it.
Isn't that true for all brands, though? Not just for this market?
I doubt so. Because of another market due to be how unique it is, how unique the brand is, and of course it's a different pattern. For most of the township market, I mean, people are living with a household with earning less than 6,000 a month. So you earn less than 6,000 a month for the household. They don't have the luxury, if they tested your brand, for them to go change it if they don't like it. And they don't vent, they vent in a different way. They're not gonna go and complain on a customer care and whatnot. They vent out with mouth to mouth. So your brand needs to be of quality, and because of once they buy it, they will have to be with your brand for the whole month. So those are the elements that brands need to understand. Quality is very essential.
But
and
deliver that quality,
of course,
they're with you for the rest of their consumer lives.
Yes. So the moment you are able to provide quality And the moment you are able to communicate the quality in the tone and the language they can understand, and that when they buy your brand and they know what they're buying for, then they will definitely be loyal to your brand.
Kabelo Ncholo from Your Self Management, thank you very much for joining us today.